Welcome back to Chokitable Media. Since last year, up to this movement in our country here in Luxembourg, two groups of the citizens have been debating. They've been dragging with each other. And what was the topic that our people are debating or dragging all about? They are dragging about the introduction or a petition raised by concerned citizens in the country talking about their intention and asking or calling the parliament to ban and not to allow the introduction of LGBTQIA into the school programs for the pupils in the primary schools. So, they gathered signatures up to 4,500 in order to allow the chambers of deputies or the parliament to be able to debate the banning process. Their aims is not to take away the right of the minors from them, nor to discriminate or incite hatred towards LGBTQIA community. Instead, the aim is to make sure that education and discussion about sexual orientation are consistent with family value and suitable for psychological development for minors. So, introducing this to them early could damage their psyche. So, they are calling for the removal of this theme from the educational materials for minors. They are stressing that it is all about family value that they want to keep. And the kids should have the freedom, and the family also should have the freedom to teach their kids their words. What the value they have in that family for the children to develop according to the family value. The petitioner is worried that early exposure to topics relating to LGBTQ might have negative impact on the psychological and educational growth of the young students in the country. So, they want it banned. However, on the flip side, I want us to examine the similar situation that is occurring in Bulgaria. How did they treat it? And what was the conclusion? Bulgaria is an European country as well. So, Bulgarian parliament has approved what the Luxembourg parliament are still discussing all about, the LGBTQ. So, the Bulgarian parliament has approved the amendment of its educational law. They are banning this LGBTQ propaganda in schools. This move was actually condemned by rights groups, and they call it a discrimination and violation of basic human rights for the pupils. Bulgarian parliament passed changes to its educational law early this month on Wednesday, widening its scope to ban LGBTQ propaganda in school in words right groups slammed as discriminatory. The amendment to the law, proposed by the country's pro-Russian Vas-Ras-Harden party, passed by a large majority with 159 votes in favor and 22 against and 12 abstentions. The law now bans the propaganda, the introduction and promotion or incitement in any way, directly or indirectly, in the educational system or in the education system, and the ideas and view related to non-traditional sexual orientation and or gender identity other than the biological one. Lawmakers also voted on a separate text that defines non-traditional sexual orientation as different from the generally accepted and established notion in Bulgarian legal tradition of emotional, romantic, sexual, and sensual attraction between persons of opposite sexes. However, demonstrators took to the streets of the capital in Sofia in the late afternoon to protest against the amendment adoption, chanting, "Shame on you! Shame on you and shame on you," and stop chasing people out of Bulgaria. Among them is a 35 years old architect who accused the country's politicians of exploiting disinformation and surfing the waves of hatred against the LGBTQ community ahead of the election in October. Left Fem, the left-wing feminist group which organized the rally, said the amendment will make it impossible to combat the harassment in schools of young lesbians, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. This is the documentary that I've been able to put together. What is your own opinion? What do you feel? Do you want Bulgarian government or the Bulgarian parliament to withdraw the approval? Or do you want the government or the parliament of Luxembourg also, not to approve or to disapprove the introduction of these materials to the kids in their early age? And the fact is it actually true? Like those people against the petition were saying in Luxembourg, is it actually true that they have this type of materials in the curriculum of the students, in the curriculum of the pupils in the primary school? I think the government should be able to clear the waves on this. But to you, my listeners, what do you feel about this topic? It has been back and forth between pro and against. On which side do you stand? Do you stand on the side of the LGBTQ group or association that this material should be introduced to the pupils? Or do you stand in support of the people against it, saying let the traditional value or let this type of information be introduced to the kids when they are matured, or let the family value of the pupils take the front stage by teaching them what they have in their family, rather than allowing the authority or the school to do that? Critically, what do you think humans will start to benefit from this back and forth and the introduction of this bill? What do you think will we gain? Do you think it's going to move the people forward? Do you think it's going to contribute anything to the development of these puppies? Put your comment. This is Chukitable Media.